আপনি কিছু বলতে চান? জি,
Namaste and welcome. I am Pratim Bose and you are watching my podcast, Perspective. You just watched a clip that is Professor Abul Burkat, who is presented to court for embezzlement of fund amounting to 297 crore Bangladeshi taka, which is less than 25 million. The amount belongs to, according to New Age Bangladesh, this is with regard to a loan that was granted to some corporates when he was chairman of a bank, a Bangladeshi bank. Professor Burkat is not a professional banker. This position was, he was nominated by the government in 2009 to 13, when Sheikh Hasina has just come to power. Professor Burkat is known as a professor of distinguished professor of economics. If Dr. Yunus is people's banker, Professor Burkat is people's economist. Professor Burkat is not arrested for embezzlement of fund. That is what I believe, and millions like me who track Bangladesh or know Bangladesh believe. There are reasons. First of all, let me start with Professor Burkat's arrest. It was done at 11:30 at night. Professor Burkat is 71 years. He is suffering from some serious ailment and has been homebound, home restricted for last 1 year at least, when I had interacted with him over telephone for guidance to my research. He did not leave Dhaka. He is a freedom fighter. He participated in the liberation war. He is a huge admirer of Bangabandhu Mujibur Rahman, Sheikh Hasina's father. And the man, he was the liberation hero. This is history. No one can change this. He was also the first president and was assassinated with family in 1975. Professor Burkat is better known for his seminal work. He wrote over 45 books. Let me just take you to what he worked on. Then you will know why he has been arrested and why he had to be arrested at midnight. Remember, Bangladesh made it a practice to arrest old, ailing men and women at midnight. Tuhin Afroj, who was a prosecutor of International Crimes Tribunal during Hasina's years, when the tribunal was doing trial of the liberation war criminals, namely Jamaat-e-Islami activists. Tuhin Afroj was a prosecutor. She later resigned from that position and for many years. Just right after August 5 changeover, the fundamentalists attacked her and Afroj was arrested again midnight in April for doing something with arms during the July protests. Afroj is an old woman, a frail old Bengali woman, and this has been done. But what has happened to Dr. Barkat is even more glaring. Dr. Barkat, let me take you to what he has been doing. Let me read out, first of all, from a news article, his interview back in 2016. It was published in Bangla Tribune of Dhaka, where Professor Burkats said that the terrorists or Islamic fundamentalists have been working with a plan to take over the power, and they are doing the congregations, they have a target in a target oriented manner. He said that there were 132 identified terror outfits in Bangladesh, with Jamaat-e-Islami at the top as the apex of all the political economy of Islamic fundamentalism. Dr. Professor Abul Barkat pointed out that roughly, according to him, he has been doing research on political economy of terrorism. He has a very celebrated book on the political economy of terrorism. In Bengali, it is referred as Maulobader Orthaniti. And he made some assessment of the amount of money that has gone into funding terrorism in Bangladesh. I'm not going into the amounts, because these are to be that is another seminal discussion. But he said that he actually pointed out that the terror finance, which is definitely an issue, everyone who is aware will be knowing Bangladesh was in the FATF, Financial Action Task Force grey list, till 2014. Hasina came to power in 9, and it was because of the corrective measures she has taken to suppress terrorist fundamentalists or fight against fundamentalists. Bangladesh was removed from the terror watch list, Financial Action Task Force, in 2014. So the issue of terror financing is extremely relevant. And that this is a fact is known by none other than the current finance advisor of Bangladesh, Dr. Salehudin, who was the director of Bangladeshi Central Bank, that is Bangladesh Bank, between 2006 and 9. In his tenure, Bangladeshi Central Bank identified 22 transactions, identified and penalized Islami Bank, which was run by Jamaat-e-Islami, for terror financing pertaining to 22 transactions. Professor Abul Barkat said that actual amount which was transacted was 100 times more, the number of transactions, but 22 was identified. Now, this is one part of what Professor Abul Barkat has been working, terror financing, the economy of terror. And he has been working on it for decades. The other thing which Professor Abul Barkat has been working and is quite celebrated is on the marginalization of the marginalized in Bangladesh, social economic deprivation by state. He wrote on many marginal classes, and I am referring to land grab, particularly related to Hindus. So Dr. in 2016, during the publication of his book, of his very seminal book, it's a huge volume, he came to news saying that no Hindu will be left in Bangladesh in 30 years. And it was not something he said on air. Professor Abul Barkat worked on the land holding. He conducted surveys and he worked on land holding pattern of Bangladesh, and he found out, and this is a fact, anyone who is aware of Bangladesh knows Hindus are forced to give up their land. If you go to Bangladesh, try to buy land, the land of a Hindu attaches a lower price tag because every other day he is abused, and it is assumed that one day he will be forced to give up his land and go. So this is, and Professor Barkat is merciless in his assessment. He pointed out that Awami League activists have grabbed over 40% of the Hindu land. The BNP, some 30%. Jamaat, Jatiya Party, every party activists have ended up grabbing Hindu land. Before the liberation, that is in East Pakistan days, daily rate of migration from Bangladesh to migration of Hindus from Bangladesh to India was 705 per day. It rose to 512 during 1971 and 1981, 438, 1981 and 1991, 767 every day between 99 and 2001, and 774 between 2001 and 2012. That was his study period. And we all are aware, I live in West Bengal in India, which borders Bangladesh, and I know that migration of Hindus is a fact of life. It is an everyday fact of life. Whenever the Islamists have power in Bangladesh, whenever they have some control, whenever they rule Bangladeshi politics, as of today, migration of Hindus is a fait accompli. And Professor Abul Barkat studied it from landholding point of view. He studied, and his book is widely read and quoted. That said, Professor Burkat has been arrested, and this arrest is purely because he, by his research, gave solid evidence of the presence of terrorists, terror financing, and migration of Hindus. It is because of his research this Sheikh Hasina government revoked 2 acts, Vested Property Acts and Abandoned Property Acts, which were introduced during East Pakistan days, and these were used to take away the land property of Hindus by the government. The act has been repealed, but it hasn't brought any practical change in the situation in Bangladesh because the whole system is anti-minority. And no one really cares. Even the current government, when the Hindu Buddha Wiko, there is a council of minority communities, when they pointed out about 2,500 incidents of attacks on minority in last 1 year post Hasina. And the government is consistent in rubbishing those claims. They say that this is due to political rivalry. This is due to land-related issues, and that's it. They barely admit a fraction of it. So this is completely the whole issue of minority is a suppressed issue over there. The protection of Hindus is it's not politically accepted over there. No one would like to talk politically, socially. So Professor Abul Barkat spoke about it. So he made two specific mistakes. One, he spoke against the terror, Islamic terror. He spoke against the Jamaat-e-Islami link. He spoke about the Jamaat-e-Islami link in terror financing. He said that terror outfits. In 2016, he said that Islamic terrorists or fundamentalists are working on a plan to take over power. And he gave some numbers, how they are going, increasing their muscle from village to village. So, and finally, he spoke against the persecution of Hindus. He clearly said that the Hindus are living because of the persecution. This is forced migration of Hindus. So, and he spoke for other marginalized communities. So he made terrible mistake in Bangladesh. And in Bangladesh now, the Islamists are ruling the roost. There are two power centers. That is, any literature on Bangladesh, political literature on Bangladesh or commentary on Bangladesh will tell you. There are two power centers. The closest to Dr. Yunus or the biggest supporters of Dr. Yunus. One is Islamists. The other one is student. And many question whether these two are separate or the same. Because you often see them moving. There is an unanimity in their actions and in their demands. They move in the same direction when compared to the rest of the political class. So that these Islamists are now on top is no secret. And if we look at the Economist reporting, New York Times reporting, even it has started coming in the foreign press. So Professor Abul Barkat is punished. He is an enemy because he speaks for Hindus, because he speaks against terror, because he speaks against terror financing and the link of Jamaat-e-Islami. So he is punished for that. And this is not about him only. There is a persecution going on. This is no trial. If you are doing trial of someone for a corruption case, and if he is not absconding, then they are bound to, you interrogate him. Then you take the case to the court, and where it will be tried, where there will be discourse on it, and then based on the proof, you punish someone. That is the rule of a civilized society. Professor Abul Barkat was not trying to abscond. He was homebound. So why arrest? If you have arrested, why at midnight? And if you have arrested at midnight, why didn't you grant him bail? He is not a criminal. You are talking about financial crime. That too by someone who is non-executive, holding non-executive power. A chairman doesn't hold executive power. Fair enough. You do your trial. You do for corruption. But why in this fashion? So your very actions, the way you picked up other people at midnight, everything says that you are abusing the state power against the academics, against the intelligentsia, against the lawyers, anyone who can speak out. It is unfortunate that at this moment, I haven't heard from Bangladesh anyone speaking about the human rights on human rights. Even a criminal deserves a human right. But that's and when you are talking about a celebrated professor, academic, lawyers, etc., top people of the society, they deserve some rights. They deserve some decency. The other day, a professor was denied promotion because he is Hindu. And this has been going on. The issue is what I'm I think I should have used harsher language, but I'm restraining myself. What the Western human rights specialists have been doing for many years, in many countries, even in Bangladesh, they intervened, they spoke. All these Nobel laureates wrote letters for Dr. Yunus when he was persecuted by the state, by Hasina's government. It was perceived. We all stood by, or we all, we disliked what Hasina did to Dr. Yunus, an old man, a Nobel laureate, an economist, a banker. So why you are doing all this to him? Though there were some charges against him or his company were might not be incorrect, because his company has gone for some reconciliation with the petitioners. So that proves that it was not all wrong. There was one particular labor case, but I'm not getting into that. It is a fact. It is a fact that Dr. Yunus suffered personally. He was when Dr. Yunus had come to power and he is abusing state power and he is letting loose the state agencies to harass a professor, an economist, a people's economist, a very celebrated person, known for his original work. What are this human rights community doing across the academics, those who used to write those letters in the past? Where have they all gone? Have they all gone blind over the last 1 year? Are they not watching what is happening in Bangladesh? Or human rights is part of politics? Let me end my podcast here. Please subscribe and share if you like this episode. Thank you.